And good morning. How's everyone today? Let's see, is everything two sides? Looks like it. Feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't know. Let's see. Alright, well last night ended up getting that PR pushed out. Looks like they closed that other open PR, which was the macros. I think it was the same stuff that Musean was commenting on. Which is good. Glad that's done. Alright. So Toast came back with a couple of suggestions. Test are pointless. Not yet. I think once this whole thing becomes like more macros, I think then the tests will actually be pointless. But until then, they were quite helpful yesterday. This one though, you can use sin parse quote instead of quote here. Well, let's go see what that is. What is this? Fuzzy quotation macro that accepts input like quote, but uses type inference to figure out the return type of those tokens. Oh, interesting. The following helper function adds a t colon heap size to every type parameter t. So we have generics, okay, or param in that if let. Oh, there's parse quote. Interesting. Why would we use sin type over the other? I haven't been really using type in here. Structs. Ah, here it is. Why would we do that? Interesting. Drive copy because of what it does. Yeah, some of these are going to be quick and easy. Hey, good morning, Carter. I'm in Lex. Good morning. And thank you for the follow, by the way, 28 minutes ago. Well, this is encouraging here. I'm glad that that's the way it is. A little. If we try to fix the first issue, I think that might actually change, which was this here. If we actually make it so that the code is generated and used. Oh, weird save and load problems. Yeah. Nth degree. What do you got? And this is a HTML5 game in Godot? Or, and how, okay, yeah, explain that. I'm going to do some of these little mindless pieces while we talk about that. A little thing off there. All right. All right, let's put those brackets back then. I like the old way. 134 to 137. Let's see what we had there before. Ah, here. Sure, if it's ref counted, we'll do that. Sure. Open an issue on Godot GitHub. Copy link address. Look. Saving a file too frequently in HTML5 export will prevent the save from being saved permanently. Once a second, it seemed to not work on HTML5. Once a second, wow. Project files are here. Let's take a look at the project files first before we get too far into that. Oh, that's autosave label. And where are you doing your autosave? Autosave timer, there we go. Oh, I see. You're basically timing this on frame count. All right, and then it either does a create file save or perform save. I see. So this pretty much just generates the state that you want to save, and then performing the save. Creating a new file. Hey, Cat Peasant, how's it going? We're looking at some Godot script currently. Now, what's a typical path here? So the save path, that at the top, I thought I saw something like that. Default save path, user in there. Does it actually save it to local storage? Okay, it is local storage. Out of curiosity, if you change the timer, there's also a thing called session store. Yeah, I'm familiar with. I'm a web dev by day. So that's interesting. Yeah, I've been doing web dev stuff for a long time. So your guess that the save first happens in session storage, and then after 5 seconds of inactivity, it moves to local storage. I don't think it actually works like that. Session storage is really an in-memory storage, and local storage is something that's persistent to disk. It's supposed to go across browser sessions. In fact, if you're in something like Chrome, when you look at this, you'll have basically an equivalent, and you'll be able to see, like, is it using local storage, session storage. Session storage goes away after the tabs close, basically. Local storage is going to exist for a little bit longer. And then there's things like IndexedDB and whatnot. Now, it would be interesting to see if it's actually showing up in local storage or IndexedDB. That could be cool. It'd be interesting if it was showing up in IndexedDB. But I'd expect it to show up in here and then probably the file name to be on the left and then something else on the right. Just looking at the logic here, yeah, I would actually suggest kind of something else. See how you have save test 1? I might suggest that you try saving and incrementing this. So maybe have, just to test it out, if you had some sort of incrementer, like for once a second or whatever, right? So this is save file 1, save 2, save 3, save 4. Yeah. You could update the contents of which is the latest one and see, does Godot, now this isn't actually trying to fix Godot, but maybe working around the symptoms that you actually are experiencing. So if you increment the file number and start to move around, do you experience the same issue? Is it systemic to Godot interacting with local storage? And I guess my main question really points down to not what I meant to do. If you ran this and then looked in local storage, would you see a bunch of keys being updated? I guess we could go back to your bug. If we come over here, all right, so I should have read that again. Ooh, here it goes, it's loading. Oh, the problem persisted even when you did that. Ooh, interesting. All right, let's give this a moment, and then we'll look at what it's doing. Oh, I love the art. That's great. All right. Now, where's... It's supposed to be storing, right? Zoom out. Okay, yeah. Command. Oh, here. Toggle autosave. There we go. Thank you. Now, let's see, move. So autosave status is true. I'm not seeing it's anywhere in here. Oh, that would be gross if they were storing it to cookies. Would not be pleased with that. But you can see in the console. Yeah, but where's it actually saving? That is interesting. Let's see, refresh. No, refresh here. I mean, this is it, right? And then if we toggle that off, then it'll stop looping, right? Let's see, it's always under learn. That gets me every time. Yep. Yada yada. Tutorials file system. Does it talk about HTML5 at all? And we could go look at the source. Let's see. Let's see if we can find the source real quick. All right, so in this case, we're looking for file.h probably. Let's do a search. See if they actually bind it. Get icon. Where's that going to be? Let's find something else that might be specific to file about compression. This might be specific to the file. Or bind. This looks like file. Okay, so file bind methods. Go to the top of where the file stuff is. That looks like something else there. All right, and here's file. Open encrypted. Open compressed. Open. You're just doing a regular open. But file access. If F, return this. Where's file access? Okay, we got 2 files there. Let's see, where's open? Oh. I don't have like Vim C++ tools installed, so a little bit more manual. Okay, nothing in there for a function definitions in here, just the declarations. What's this? Yeah, that's a struct. Yeah, let's go to the actual file. Definitions. Ooh. Interesting that they have a reopen. I wonder what reopen does. I barely know anything that you're looking at. Barely have any idea of what you're looking at. Yeah, this is C++ code. It's fairly typical. Non-string pointers. So here's that open call. This is the source code that gets run in Godot when you call open. One thing I did notice, and it didn't dawn on me before, or is it, do they have a flush in here? They don't have a flush. What about a sync? No, okay. I'm looking for something that might actually flush it, quote unquote, like to disk. I don't see it in there. Close would probably do it. In your code, were you calling close? I thought you were. Back in main. You did, right? Yeah. Perform save. How often do we see that in your output? Save file will be created. Saving here, save complete. It's not saying that it didn't find it. So it must exist somewhere. And it's really not in any of these the storage blobs. Cache storage. If I reload, so when you reload, do you get that back? Is, here, let's see. Let's put these all in the same spot, same kind of area. We'll have them in a line. Hit save. Actually, does save call the same thing? Yeah, that's actually changing over there. Save. Right. If we reload, make sure network doesn't have caching disabled. Now what's run tool? Okay. They're in the same place. Let's go back to storage and see. Not there, not there. Oh, here we go. It was in IndexedDB. Okay, so this is where your data is actually being saved. It's in IndexedDB, which means that any browser that doesn't have IndexedDB, um, you won't be able to use this. Either that, they might have some sort of fallback. Yeah, it looks like most browsers support this. What's up with IE11? You're not using IE11, are you? I'm gonna have like a bonfire party when IE11 dies. Internet Explorer 11? Yeah. Trying to remember where it is. Oh, yes, I got it right. 5 years, 3 months, 27 days, 22 hours. Firefox only, okay. Oh, the same problem on Chrome. Okay, that's good to know. One other consideration is basically reusing the same file object. Here you're creating a new file object and saving it over and over again here. I wonder if there's something, what is this store line? I wonder if there's something inside of there that wouldn't, like, you're obviously, touching some bug and it doesn't like it. But I wonder if there's something that you could work around this by either reusing the same file object, and basically not closing it. A little hesitant there. That could be interesting as well. Well, this is neat. I have not used HTML5 exports in Godot and saved like this. And we can click on it. We can see that data's got this. It's got some parsed values. It says nice. Good job, Firefox. Actually, why is there so much data in here? Yes, yeah, you should be able to save to local storage and then close the tab. That's true. Um, there could be some other sort of odd bits. I've been a web dev long enough to have worked with Flash and other sort of bridge APIs. And there are issues like with Flash calling out to JavaScript and vice versa, where if you do it too quickly, things will get clobbered. I've seen that before. I haven't seen, like, this is all in Firefox, so it doesn't really have an excuse. Unless it's flushing to that API every so often and you're missing something or it's clobbering via some other sort of call that Godot is using. I wouldn't expect that though. I don't, I'd expect that they just call through and flush to IndexedDB right away. All right, if we go back, oh, we're on the, all right, was I going back? I showed you guys this, right? Sorry, looking outside. Yeah, okay. Goats are on the move. Let's go back to the code and take a peek. All right, so in this case, file access. Now you're opening this with regular sort of permissions on there. It should just be a file open. Yeah, you open it with write access. Try open path. Okay, so that's if it's packed. Otherwise, we create for path. Return the open with those modes, etc. What does this create for path do? Where do we get that? Ah, here. Okay, so if it's user, then we create with access user data. Here's create. Create function with access. Okay. Is this a pointer table? Seriously. Come on, people. Yeah, they're basically creating a pointer table here. So these are null pointers to functions. And later they come through and put them up here. What do they flush? Let's say. That's one thing I'm not seeing in this API, is the ability to just flush it to disk. Oh, had you been using an older version of Godot? Oh, they could have switched recently to using, okay, newest stable one. Let's do a quick check. Um, I don't think we're going to find anything around here. Open a database, create an object store in the database. Wait for the operation to complete. Interesting. I wonder how they're actually calling. I wonder what Godot is using when they compile down to HTML5. Because it might not actually be a Godot bug. It could be their bridge code bug that they're relying on. Yeah, this is weird. I'm guessing that it's really the bridge and not necessarily Godot. We do not see anything in here that's saying like, oh, if HTML5, right? Web. So it's more likely that however Godot is getting compiled out is really the issue. All right. I had to go whisper and tell the goats to go back over that way. Okay. They're out for their morning foraging. I don't think you're crazy. This seems legit weird, bug. I'm guessing that whatever the bridge code is isn't listening to the sync properly. Sort of flush. Well, I don't think people tend to save that often in Godot. I think what you're most likely going to have issues with here is that um, yeah, typically I don't think people would save every second for something like this. By the way, what are you saving? Because if we come back here, we look at this. Yeah, I think the problem is really opening and closing this database, this DB. Because you can see here that all of these keys inside of here are going to be off of the same database. So as it opens and closes, it's just going to be doing the same thing over and over and over again. So no, even if these were different files in here, it's still the same database. I might try, so my suggestion would be to try to keep the same file open. And then when you go to overwrite it, let's see, maybe there's a way that you can clear it, or let's say open, yada yada, seek. Why aren't you using store var? They don't really have like an empty in here or clear truncate. All right. Well, it's worth a try. Sorry we couldn't figure it out further, but it doesn't look like, to me, looks more like it's the bindings. Whatever Godot is actually interacting with is more likely the issue. Actually, if we figure out what is setting these. Oh, a couple hits. Yeah, that's the one we're currently looking at. Tools enabled, yada yada. Ah, here's make default. Oh, nice. Out of curiosity, why are you saving every second? The reason I ask is because games typically wouldn't do that, as serialization and file I/O is expensive. Oh, I see. Yeah, to me that points to the HTML5 bridge, whatever they're using for that. Which might actually be this guy, Mscripten. Oh, what is this? Why is the screen black? Oh, I meant to go to the browser. I went to the wrong scene. Sorry. But this is Mscripten, LLVM to web compiler. So if Godot is using this for their HTML5 version, it could actually be a bug in an Mscripten that you found. All right. Okay, so we're going to go look at. Where was it going? Here. Oh, the diff didn't load. There we go. Couldn't remember what had been here before, but it's class. Not reference counted, then we just return OK. Arguably, I should just panic. Oh, no, no, that's not what it did before, was it? Let's assert instead. So if it is reference counted, it'll be fine. Otherwise, okay, and we'll add that to these three functions. Yeah. Trying to find the comments again. Oh, whoa. Allow macro. I thought that one got merged already. Oh, it did. Just had a cached page there. Okay, and this. I thought there were other places that we had a branch like that before. Oh, we'll see. Yeah, we're going to look at that again, 134. Oh, here, just the loop. And they commented on the if ref counted, but not the others. And the others were pretty obvious too. Okay, we're going to leave the others alone. Should be named derived copy because that's what it does, probably. Classes, line 15. Okay, got that one. I don't mind those nitpicks. Naming is one of the hardest things in programming. thought about using temp file yesterday, but didn't. All right, Armin Lex, you're welcome. Take care. Let's see, I guess we could use something else for a temp file. We probably could. We don't truly want like a temporary file. We want one that persists. Well, that's right, we can call persist on it, can't we? How do we actually persist it? Named temp file? All right, we'll think about it. Does temp file have I don't really want a temp directory. I'd rather just have a temporary file somewhere. I'm thinking that there's a different way to actually solve this, and that everything that we've been doing can be converted to macros. Hold on, I gotta yell at the goats. All right. So persisting. Uh, so we'll turn this into macros and it'll be used by core. And all right, back to the code. So this one here, this one's interesting. We're currently not using sin. So sin is currently only used for the test, for the bad code test. See, does sin, I wonder if that would increase the compile times that much. Hmm. Let's see what happens. I don't want to comment on that yet. Yep, same as above. Good, and okay. What does parse quote do? Quasi-quotation macro that accepts input like quote, but uses type inference to figure out the return type for those tokens. Parse quote. Name. Type. Oh, I see. Actually, what does this do? This looks like broken code. Because if this is trying to figure out the return value of this is unit, isn't it? Because, I don't know. Well, let's see what it does. Oh, okay. That's more than I was expecting. So we have ident, v, then there's a colon, great. This should be in U8, great. Default. And then some parens and a semicolon. I mean, what does this give us over this quote? These are, oh, interesting. So, wow, okay, so that is quite different. So parse quote. Huh. Wanted to go back to where they were. Oh, here. Figure out the we use this type inference to figure out a return type for those tokens. Return type can be any syntax tree node that implements the parse trait. Oh, I see. But we're not using syn here, so we ended up getting a statement because that's what that code is, right? And where's S? Where's statement? Statement should be in here. Here, we're actually going to go to Discord and see if Toast Teacher's over there. No. Just do it here. I mean, it seems like it must be able to, right? Let's see if we can figure that out. Alright, so syn is a parsing library for parsing a stream of Rust tokens into syntax tree of Rust source code. It's a Rust code parser, geared towards use in Rust procedural macros, but contains some APIs that may be more useful, or useful more generally. Okay. Syn provides a complete syntax tree that can represent any valid Rust source code. Syntax tree is rooted in syn file, which represents the full source file. There are other entry points that may be useful to procedural macros, including item, expression, and type. Interesting. CGEB1, thank you for the follow. derives. I'm trying to still parse your name. Sigebi? Sigeb1? If you have a preferred way of saying that, let me know. Derives. Of particular interest to derive macros is derive input. Does any of these three legal input items derive a macro? Okay. Parsing. So in this case, we have a macro. We get a token stream. Parse macro input. Parse the input token into a syntax tree. We take input, build the output, possibly using quasi-quotation. I see, so we can parse it and then use that. Parsing custom syntax, etc. This is kind of what we're doing. And now we're just generating code. And they have a ton of structs in here. Look at this data union. From what I understand, this was basically extracted from the compiler long ago. Parse a string, parse tokens. Okay, where's the macros? All right, let's see if we can use this. Okay, this is no longer going to be a dev dependency. All right, now where they are saying we should do this is in binding generator source API. Find gen source API. Specifically about line 272. So this here, instead of a token stream, return syn type. So something like that instead. We changed all of these into parse quote. Or did everything just work? What does that give us? It gives us a syn type. I don't understand why we would do that. Cargo test. Instead of just a token stream. So syn type would constrain the token stream a bit more. So is it just more accurate then? Because here we are returning types. Okay. Oh, but what is syn type again? Syn type was an enumeration with a lot of stuff in it. I wonder which one of those are. This type is a syntax tree enum. Oh, I don't know what that is. In Syn, okay, so this type is a syntax tree enum. In Syn, this and other syntax tree enums are designed to be traversed using the following rebinding idiom. Okay. We begin with a variable expression of the type expr that has no fields because it is an enum. All right. There's a number of different variants. Get that. Let's see, did the test pass? Oh, it's building right now. There was another one that also used Syn. Oh, it was sys. This one here. Nope, I said that. It's not right there. Okay, I said that wrong. Proc macros. Syn here. If we use the same setup here, then we don't compile Syn twice. Okay. But everything passed. Okay, we'll just go with that. It worked. See any responses? Okay. All right, and 2 sys. Option Syn type and API. Oh, the code. 2 sys. There we go. So instead of token stream, we have these different types, and this one doesn't get one. Got it. That's why it's optional. Oh, and void. Although void could be unit type. Where's this being used? Generate return pre. All right, this is going to bubble up. do the same thing, use multivim. Hit tab, insert, sin, : parse, quote. Oh, and do all of those need sums on them? Oops. Escape, $sign, there we go. Now let's deal with the defaults. Got a none there, and here. That's gonna break this though. Or is it? What did this do? So if this had been none, so which function is this? Because I'm pretty sure that was none. It was optional before. The generate return free in methods. Here we go. So it was for, was it the enum type? That doesn't seem right. Generate return pre. This is not the same function that I'm looking at. Okay, let's do a check. This is bindings generator source methods. Yes. Generate return pre. Yes. Okay. Yep, and this looks the same over here. It's really, it's right here. So before they were using sys type default. And where did that come from? Oops, it lost our place when I expanded that. So we have tie there. Scroll down. Well, it's after because this is a format. Okay. Type to system. So that's what we're doing here. Unwrap. Oh, and it's okay to unwrap it because none of these are the enums. Gotcha. Enum or what was the other one? Void. Enum or void. Great. All right. And this is the only place where it's called. That's fine. All right. Done. We can resolve that convo. Okay, let's get this PR updated. There's one more piece I want to do on this. I think the next stage of this is really dealing with what Toast Eater's talking about right here. If any of the generated code cannot be parsed, the compiler will detect it. Problem is, we're not actually using it as a macro. We're using this as a generator. So, because it's not a macro, the output doesn't go back into the compiler. We're using this as a program that generates files. And the next step, I think, is to change this so that it's a macro that generates output for the compiler. All right, get status on this. Findings generator. We'll have to explain this. Oh, and let's get rid of that dev dependencies. It's not useful anymore. Okay, these changes here, those are expected. Parse quote, good, good. This one's the option. Okay, pretty straightforward there. Just a rename here, ref counted to derive copy, and putting is ref counted back with mechanics later. What was this one? Oh, because the other versions, the other variants here, were returning the parse quote as well. We had to update this one. Okay. Right. And the panics, or the asserts rather. Fetch DD native. Oh, let me remove those two folders. I was looking at the old code versus the new code. Actually, if you want to take a peek. Oh, you're in the browser. My apologies. The new code. All right, let's look at the old code. Old code for types. It's documentation followed by pretty output, and this was all indented and everything by hand, which is not being done like that anymore. And then if we look at the new one, you can see that the docs are generated now. A little generated at blah 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 tokens in here. Everything else should be identical. This is actually formatted by Rust format. So the documentation doesn't look as nice in my opinion. But what we have to use. Something output, something empty. All right, let's go back. I try to keep this so it's just mergeable. Because they like everything squashed when they go to merge it. Oh, and I forgot this one there. Sure. Go get that. Sorry, I took a peek at the diff. Find gen cargo. Dev dependencies at the bottom. This again. Refresh one more time. Okay. Simple. Oh, what was that called? Walk macros. All right, I think I've addressed all of the comments here. Let's make sure. All right, that looks good. So what do we do next? Is it actually, I know the first thing I want to do is get rid of enums. That's actually one of the other issues here. So in this case, we're going to remove Godot enums. Let's see, let's see. Let's see, let's see if Caroufel has any option, any thoughts on this. Oop. How do you spell Caroufel again? Are they just not in here? They are Kaarroffel. There. They're offline. Okay, back to the code. We're going to create a branch off of this branch. And this isn't going to be that. This is going to be 424. Okay, so the reason that we're taking the enums out is, well, they're not correct. We're currently dropping duplicate values if they so exist, and well, if you use a -1, then you actually get the wrong value because it's being represented as a U32 instead of an I64, etc., etc. So I'm gonna get rid of them. Oh, let's get rid of them in the API. Oh, not that file. API.rs, I think. Rid of the enums. Let's dig in further. All right, that should kick off compiler to give us a little bit of help. Yeah, that's blocking. That's fine. Go back to where we were. We know that we can remove it from here, the classes. Enum reference. Yeah, enum variants to skip. Generate enums. Anything in here that we should remove? I'm looking for functions that help generate enums that could be gotten rid of. Okay. Okay, take that out of our test. Oh, camel case is never used now. Good idea. Looks like we still use heck for snake case. If you haven't seen this grade called heck, it's actually pretty neat. It does case conversion. All right. Oh, this whole function's gone. Yeah. I wonder if there's going to be like examples or something else that's using the generated enumeration. I haven't had any water today. I'm running behind. All right. No errors. It's building. Interesting. So what is doing this? Let's go to the top. Maybe there was some other error. Or not. Oh, is it the case that this like rigid body 2D CCD mode only existed because it was an enumeration? Now let's check on this. API JSON. Oh, interesting. So some of these actually returned enumerations in. Huh. I think it's supposed to be like a U64 now, or I60. It's supposed to be an I64. Let's search the Godot code. Oh, Fuda.json. That's not helpful. Return CCD mode. CCD mode is what? Okay. That's a much bigger task than I thought it was. So these that return enumerations now need to return, I think it's an I64. I'm also pretty sure that transmuting the return values can be UB in this case. Oh, in case the enum is actually a set of bit flags. Since we can be creating a Rust enum invalid. Oh, I see. So basically that second sentence there is saying that currently it's possible that we're creating a combination that Rust isn't dealing with. Because we might be creating a Rust enum with an invalid bit pattern. Ooh. Well, that's rough. Okay. So what would this look like if we were to do this in code? Let's say we were trying to use one of these enums like CCD mode, and we wanted to have both of those. We would actually have to use the CCD mode raycast in our generated code. So we are generating stuff like that. The constant also. All right, and then if we got a value back, it's going to be an I64, and to check for one of these, we would use bitwise operation. Okay. know if it's a variant, if it's an enumeration. There's type from source. And if it starts with enum, we do this logic here. And then if it doesn't start with that, then it's some other type. Okay. So enums are going to get replaced with not type enum. I think that's going away. It's going to be an I64. Yeah, I like this one. Goodbye. Boom. Wow, that's a big change. Yep. And now we don't have enums here because they're now I64s. Gets rid of that none case. Now we only have one none case. There. There it goes. Generate return pre. Okay, it's going to be an int now. Should be safe to just get rid of this. Well, it's taken a while. Drink my water then. It's taking its sweet time. Wow. Oh. And it was done. It's done. Okay, I expect some of the tests to fail. I'm thinking that some of the tests are likely to use some sort of enumeration. While we're at it, let's see, there was an issue about the book. Milestones. Book. Alright. Wow. Lots of comments here. How did I lose that tab already? No, no. Oh, that's so funny. Ah, here it is. Oh, it failed. Okay. Only call with ref counted classes. Really? Okay. Lib 214. So bindgen source lib. Ah, yes. Was that it? If it's ref counted, is ref counted. Also is ref counted. And that's for these three. Double check that. Yep, that's in the block. There. Good. Oh, that means that this should have been in the previous PR. Ooh. Oh, and Ghost Eater commented. Okay, the sin and quote crates work closely. Quote any sin AST type. Oh, that's cool. Most specific output types. Okay. That's actually very, very good, of course. Using specific type means having more information at the type level, which in turn means more things can usually be enforced by the compiler. Nice. Okay. Thank you. We'll probably resolve that convo. And it is likely going to fail to build due to that test not working. Okay. And this is running the test. It should only take a minute to run that test. Basically, it's going through and validating all the output from all those functions, just that they're valid Rust, because we're not feeding it to the compiler yet. The rest of this is looking pretty good. I think we'll commit most of this, except for that last change. It's incredibly slow. Okay, and all those tests pass then. Yep, we want that change. We want the first two here. The last one we'll leave out of this commit so that we can commit it to the other branch. For whatever reason, Fugitive is being super slow in here. It takes like 4 seconds for each command, which is unusual for Fugitive. Yeah, getting rid of that, yes. I should have just looked to see if we can commit the whole thing. I think we can in this case. I'll have api.rs. Yeah, just getting rid of the enum. These look good. Yep. It's a lot of stripping down things. Yeah. That whole file. Save a little bit of time by staging the file as opposed to the chunk. I wonder if it's just slow on this project. Yep, getting rid of those. Okay. And that file. Good. Much faster out here. And what's left? Perfect. Check out the last branch. stash it. All right, now that should help with the CI because it was currently going to fail. Let's go back to the branch we had been on. Good. Oh, how do we get that rebase correct? Let's see. We pushed it, so we should be able to do a git fetch origin. Okay, we're in sync. What? Okay, it's just that little bit at the bottom. That's fine. Okay, no more merge conflicts. Good. Add that. Git. Continue. All right. So we did the test. Let's go into the test project. Cargo. We're going to build the test Godot project. And this is a Rust project that's using the library and is set up to just run basically a bunch of tests in headless mode, so that the bridge can be tested. Two-seater had a suggestion. Maybe just create it in Tempter for now. Oh, that'd be perfect. All right, now we're going to copy. And then run it. Were there no enumeration tests? Wow, okay. The test is successful when and only when these errors are shown. We're going to go ahead and push this one. Oh, no. Get status, get. Back to the last one. Oh, it should be in here, right? Validity test buffer. So if we fail to parse it, we're going to write this, but not there. We're going to write this in some other location. Toast heater is suggested. Standard env tempter. That'll give us a path directory, then we can append to it, if I remember correctly, path buff. You can set file name and set extension. Or just set file name. Okay. Looks good. Let's use that. All right, and what does, do I really want to write it? No, enter, copy these lines. Okay. Now what does standard fs write actually take? Anything as path, okay, which could be a string or something else. It has a path buff. Okay, so we can call display on it. All right, now let's test that and generate some bad code. How about or generate enums? Not found. Yep, there we go. I'm going to take this opportunity, drink some water. Oh, it's borrowed. Try again. Almost pour some tea. Oh, it says it couldn't compile it. Why? Oh, was it saying the same thing as before? Oh, it's not mutable. Of course, okay. All right. And why didn't that fail? Didn't fail because GD native or cargo. Ah, I don't have the features on here. Yeah, now I can pour some tea. Pretty sure it's going to fail now. Unexpected token, yes. Some hot tea. Good thermos. So next, after this one, we'll remove Godot enum support. Sure, that's coming up. But there was another one. This one, generate one method bind implementation per type. And what is this one here? Oh yeah, look at that. Hecton Dev, morning. How are you? Yeah, this one's really nice too. Internal derived macro can be provided. Tuple wrappers that are non-generic and have one tuple field or a sys field. I'm doing all right. Yeah, we got the PR out. So just cleaning up some of the little bits. This is the last piece that we're actually doing. Actually looking over some of that stuff while waiting for this to do its thing. Although the test didn't actually run. Oh. All right, let's try this again. Yay, okay. So now it's going to give us, this is what I wanted to see. It actually gives us something that we can go to, open up, see the bad code. Yep, and there's the AOEU that we tossed on there. Great. Cargo, undo this one. And now we're going to go back to lib. There's our AOEU. There it is. Yeah, I think that PR is just about done. And the next one we already have lined up for removing enums, actually. So this one's going to be forthcoming as well. Nth degree, welcome. All right, so if that's good, I did like that. That was nice. If that, yep, now we have bad code using the temp directory. So this returns a path. We set a file name on the path, which just appends the file name to it. Then we write to that instead of just some random bad code file, wherever you are. All right. So that should be it for that PR. To touch that up in the pull request, we'll say that we did that. This seed has been really, really awesome here. Done. That was a good idea by Test Eater. All right, so after after that one gets committed to another PR, the next PR is really just this. Can't do it yet because master hasn't been updated. Okay, so that'll do this one here too. If we look at the issues and the milestones, this one, it didn't do anything about that yet. The task I currently did was not in here, but this one is. So the one I just did is kind of like a precursor to this one. Is good. It was something else. All right. I forget where that ended up. Oh yeah. This one, 412. This one could be pretty cool. Ah, but no, we can't do that yet. The next stage of this, because now we have the code generating using using quote. Okay. So now, what if this generate class struct was really a macro? Or something else, right? Where we could just produce code instead of writing it out to a file. That way we get better compiler errors. I think that'd be pretty cool. Let's see, can we just... Where is this actually being used? If we go look at GD Native core and their lib file. Okay. Is it in private now? Let's go look in private. No. Generated? There it is. So really we want to replace these. In fact, I don't think it's important that there's 1 or 3 files here. Just that all of it ends up in here. If we go back to build.rs, creating some files, and then getting a list of strongly connected components, which, if I remember correctly, is just reference and object. Then they iterate over them, produce some code. Then we close the files, format it, and go on. But what if we could bypass this whole file by just having a couple macros? Is that the way that it should be done? So what is our goal? Our goal is to basically, when we go to generate code, like right here, I can toss something in there like this and save it. There's no sort of type hints, there's nothing, right? There's no feedback until you go and try to do like a Rust format or build that you screwed up right here. That just doesn't exist. What I'm thinking is that we need to incorporate the output of this into part of the token stream that the compiler chews up when it's compiling the code. So what does our API look like to our consumers here? GD native core calls, well, strongly connected components and generate class. It's going to have a little nodes file. So GD native core uses that and that. Okay. And what about the other one, GD native bindings? Binding lib. Oh, it's not in lib. Build. Basically the same thing, strongly connected components and generate bindings. Oh, generate bindings, not generate class. Interesting. Come on, back to the to-do. There we go. What do these do? So that's really kind of the API on that. So what will we change in GD native core? And how would we change it? Here's the generated code, and it should live in here. So if we did something like bindings generator, colon, or generate, then we can give it some sort of text. We do something like that, and then we get rid of these three things here. Interesting. Of course, that have to be a macro, etc. Wow, look at all this other stuff in here. I think this stuff here could actually be in the generated code. The generated code should not be creating code that then depends on its environment here. Okay. What about the other one? We go to bindings build. This one has a list of elements to ignore. Maybe not generate. generate include, and then maybe for the other one we should say generate exclude. That might work. If we go back to GD native bindings, where does bindings actually put in? The top, isn't it? Yeah, there. We do that. Then we get rid of the build files. They do not appear to be used. Okay, let's get rid of this. And for core. Yeah, I want to do a quick check. Check out that PR. Might have missed this one. Ah, yes. All right, well, it looks like Toast Eater's getting into it. Let me... Let's create a new branch. Git checkout -b Halsey macro fun. Not micro fun, macro. Okay. Oops, left in the browser. So we switched branches. Basically, I put everything in a work in progress branch. Back to proc macro 2. Okay. Where's this one? Special methods. Oh. Yes. Assert that mouse dot is instantiable. That's better. Oh, can't be the only one. I thought there were more comments. Finding generator, source lib. Oh, I'm in the wrong file. All right. And let's check these. Do I have any other guards on these? Okay, this one's already in, kind of a guard. Oh, wait, on. So if the base class is empty, we return. So if it is empty, that's when we panic. And here we negate it. Okay. All right. Better to add a branch where it's called. Okay. Special methods. Okay, that's the one we just did. Good. Oh, class is singleton. Is that class dot is same file, right? Class dot singleton. Yeah. There we go. I lost my place. Why did it do that again? It's so weird. Alright. Okay. There's those two. Why did it put... Oh, it's saying return. Wait. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. We don't do the return here. There we go. Now, why did that happen? That was strange. Okay, not that one. If classes. Okay. I think we got them all. Let's just double check. So this one, which is in special methods. Yeah, if the class is a singleton, look at that. Okay. Not that one. We just checked that. All right, and we fixed this as well. What about things like, I thought there was another one in here. Basically did the same thing. Was it class simple? Yeah, here we go. No, 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 this one's slightly different. This is down below. Okay. This one. Okay. Generate enums. That one's good. Good. Yeah, that one looks fine. Okay. It's one quick more pass. Hey, what about this here? Method name. I mean, the spirit's kind of the same, isn't it? Just doing a pre-validation. Yeah, I think we got it. Tea might be cool enough to drink now. Ah, that's right. Our test. Hmm. So we constrain that one. What about this one? There we go. This one too. Those we already did. Instantiable. Yeah, that one's gone. We already got that one. Good. Again. should not be called in a class with no base class. Interesting. It's called from like one place. How'd that even happen? Oh, this is backwards. Not be empty. Okay, this, let's just resolve that. Did that. Okay. Oh, it's compiling. Good. All right. Well, I think all I have to do is to clean up, get this committed, push it, and then I'll be done with that. I gotta get going, but Adam is learning Rust today, so we're gonna raid him. And hopefully I can get the enums removed and then get some macro stuff done. Until next time, bye-bye.